the secret of Jewish survival and continuity? There are many possible answers. Each one of them will have a kernel of truth. But in the bigger picture, the most important answer is that throughout history, especially the exile, where Jews were flung to the four corners of the world, the glue that kept the Jewish people together was the Torah, Jewish tradition, Jewish ritual, doing the mitzvot, and Jewish morals and ethics. No matter where in the world a Jew was, that was the glue that kept us together. Through thick and thin, through exiles, pogroms, expulsions, inquisitions, crusades, ghettos, blood libels, Holocaust. That which was the constant was the Torah. And not only did we survive, even though we are a minuscule quantitative amount of the people on planet Earth, but not only did we survive, but we thrived. In every country where we were, we made incredible contributions. When the real history of the world is written, it will be understood. But whether it was in the arts or physics or medicine, education, philosophy, economics, medicine, whatever the area was, the Jewish people thrived and contributed. And ultimately, it was all based on a Jewish worldview, on Jewish morals and ethics, the idea of tikkun olam, of rectifying the world, improving the world. And all of that comes from the Torah. And so we made these tremendous contributions to the whole world. And yet, over the generations, there are so many Jews who don't even realize the riches that we have in our tradition and the influence that we've had in the world. And especially now, as I'm speaking, there's a war in Israel. We are literally being attacked from the four directions. From the west by Hamas, from the north by Hezbollah, from the east from Iranian proxies in Syria, from the south from the Houthis in Yemen, and in Jewish communities all over the world, the rise of anti-Semitism is quite startling. And yet, in every situation, there is going to be a positive side. And part of that side is, and we could see it everywhere, where the more that we're pressed, many, many Jews are either waking up to the reality of what it means to be Jewish, or those who are already committed are strengthening their commitment, because we're truthfully under attack from every quarter. So especially now, the reason for Jewish survival has always been our loyalty and our love of the Torah, our loyalty and love of the Creator of the universe, the giver of the Torah. And there could be no better time to rededicate ourselves to learning Torah on whatever level we are holding at. There's a beautiful Talmudic story. It's symbolic. That says that when a fetus is in the womb, an angel comes and teaches it the entire Torah. And right before the baby is born, the angel touches the baby here in the cleft of the lip, and the baby forgets the whole thing. So the classic question, the obvious question is, if that is the plan from the beginning, that the baby should forget, what's the point of teaching the whole Torah to the child, just so that they forget? And so the answer that is given, and it's a very important answer, is on the conscious level, the Torah is forgotten. But on the unconscious, or we'll call it more the supraconscious level, a impression is left in the soul that stamps a Jewish reality to our souls. And so sometimes it could be quite later in life, it could be earlier. Sometimes someone is brought up with virtually no connection to Jewish tradition, to Torah learning, to rituals, to mitzvot. And somewhere along the line, they'll be exposed in some way. And so many people respond by saying, there's something familiar about this experience I'm having. And it's like this warm, fuzzy kind of inner feeling. This feels so familiar, feels so natural and good. And so there are many, many, many people out there who need to have an experience that will open up their neshamas to what they've always known inside. And there are those who need to be the facilitators of this. The Lubavitcher Rebbe once said that in our time, if someone, let's say, doesn't know an aleph from a bet, doesn't know even the first Hebrew letter, and today they learn an aleph, they learn the first letter, that person is already obligated to teach someone else who doesn't even know an aleph. That's the reality of our generation. There was a time that a student would spend a lifetime with their teacher before they would dare go out and teach themselves. But now the need of the world is, if you know even a little bit of Torah, then it needs to be shared already. We also learned that there's a concept called Shivim Panim LeTorah, 70 faces to the Torah. The Arizal, the great Kabbalist in Tzfat, said there are actually 600,000 faces to the Torah, one for each of the primal root souls of Israel. By tradition, there are 600,000 root souls. The idea here is every individual has what's called a face in the Torah. In other words, their perspective of the Torah. But to merit to find our own face in the Torah, we need to learn what are the other faces. And that's where Jewish learning comes in. And we're told that throughout Jewish history, one of the main ways of Jewish learning was in pairs. It's called chavruta. It comes from the word chaver. Chaver in modern Hebrew means today a friend. But the same root also means to connect. Chibur, to connect. And so we're told that even though we can, and there's many times where we learn Torah on our own. It could be in English, it could be in Hebrew, it could be in another language. We learn on our own. But the student-teacher relationship is so instrumental, so essential to Jewish learning. But also this idea of chavruta, two people learning together. It could be that they're on the same level of learning. It could be that one is more the teacher and one is more the student. But still the idea of pairs getting together, each one helps the other develop their face in the Torah. Because if we're only learning on our own, we have our perspective, but that perspective is fairly one-dimensional because we're not exposed to all the other faces of the Torah. But when we have a learning partner, so we go back and forth, and each one encourages, each one challenges, each one brings out the best in the other. So right now, many people are asking, what can we do? We're in a war situation, as I mentioned before, and the anti-Semitism is getting more and more serious and more dangerous day by day. And everyone's asking, what can I do? Okay, so there's many things that could be done. There's many ways to support Israel. There's many ways to support our soldiers. There's many ways to try to affect the political realm and be a defender of Israel, be a defender of our own Jewish communities. But since Jewish survival depends on learning Torah and observing the Torah and spreading the Torah and integrating the Torah. So one of the greatest things that we could do right now for real Jewish survival is to commit to learning. And here we have a program called Chavrusa Match, where it could be over the telephone, it could be over video, it could be over Zoom, it could be live. Everyone has the opportunity to either learn or to teach. And we're told that one of the sages said, more than what I learned from my teachers, I learned from my contemporaries. And more from what I learned from my contemporaries, I learned from my own students. And so here, student and teacher is not black and white. The Chavrusa system is a dynamic process of learning that brings out the best in everyone. And so here we have a chance to do something important for ourselves, something important for Israel, and something important for the whole world. Because the Jewish people are meant to be a light unto the nations, and there's no greater light than the light of Torah. So I encourage you and I urge you to take part in this program, chavrusamatch.com. Go to their website. You can choose how to learn, what to learn, when to learn, and take the initiative, and it can only be for a blessing.